Okay, I've got a program called GIMP installed and loaded up here. It's a graphics program. It's really good. It's free. And I'm going to go in here and I am going to find my image and I'm going to open it up. And now what I've got here is I've got a picture of a control panel, and this is out of an old Apollo spacecraft control panel from NASA. And you might be like, well, okay, that's cool, but what's that got to do with a milling machine? Well, we'll get to that. The way these buttons worked was they were clear plastic, and they printed their message on there, and they slipped it inside, and when you push the button, it lit up. And I just think that look is really cool. So I am going to zoom in on one of these buttons. I like this one here. And I'm going to tell it to take this button, and we're going to go like this, and we're going to crop. So now I've got this cool looking button, right? Now this inside area, the first thing I want to do is I want to go to layers, and I want to add an alpha channel, which is a transparency. And then I'm going to say, okay, everywhere that this plastic was, like that, I'm going to go to layer, and I'm going to say, make it transparent. All right, so now we've got this neat little button frame with a clear area in there, and anything behind it will show through. And that's kind of cool, right? Yeah. And I can save that. So I can go File, Export As, and I can call it Apollo 1A button. Yay. So now I've got that saved. So then I can look at this image and I can say, all right, great. Let's scale it down. There's scale. And I'm going to break this chain and I'm going to say, I want this thing to be 100 pixels tall by 30 wide. And that gives me a thin looking button like that, but in the same style of the Apollo buttons. And I'm going to go File, and I'm going to export that as Apollo 1A button short. Okay. So now we've got that saved. But why? Well, let's find out. So now I've opened up another program, and this one's called Inkscape, another free program. Very useful. And so here's the button frame that I made, and here's a color approximation of what it looks like when it was turned off, right? So I take this and we'll put it in this button like this. Actually, I'll take this, and then I'll use the function to align and distribute, and I will tell it to center them both. Okay? Then I'm going to tell it take this and put it all the way in the back. So now we have a cool looking button. Then I'm going to take this text and I'm going to put it like this, and again I am going to use this and this, and I'm going to center it. So now I've got a button, right? And that looks good, and I can save that button. Then one of the other things that I can do is I can go back to this, and I can assign it a different color like that, and then throw it in the back. And you see I can make the buttons different colors, right? So I'm going to do that for a bunch, and then when I get done, what I end up with is I end up with a bunch of cool buttons like this. All right? What do we do with those, and what do those have to do with a CNC machine? Well, let me show you. What you see here is sample code. It's called PYVCP, and this pulls all the images in and lets me create a special panel. All that code that you just saw, or some similar to it, is used to create the panel that you see on the right. And you can see right now the machine shut down and the e-stop or emergency stop has been pressed. So let's go through the process of starting up the machine. First, we reset the e-stop switch to tell it it's safe to turn the machine on. Then we hit the activate or power switch to activate the Axis software so it's ready to run. Homing the machine is very important. This is where it travels to all of its different sensors and locates the sensors and knows its position. So then it marks that position as the 0 point and references everything from there. It's very important. The machine goes through a series of movements, and when it's finished, it knows where the 0 point is. From there, we can set our working position to be anywhere that we need it to be. We define a new home point, and then at any time we can click the Safe Go Home button, and it'll automatically move the cutter as high as it'll go and then move over to that location. You can see here that the tool is sitting in the middle right at the surface of the material, ready to start cutting. So now there's nothing left to do except to hit the play button with the cycle start button, and the machine will start processing our job. There's a lot of action going on here. You see that the spindle is now turned on, and you can see we're running it at the high speed of 25,000 RPM. And you can also see that it's halfway finished with the job. And then here it is, ended at the end of the job, and it's shut down and ready for the next job. So let's see it in the real world. Well, you reach a time when you've done as much testing as you can do, and it's time to give it a try and see what's going to happen. So I got a little piece of scrap wood here. I'll set it up about evenly between the two of these like this. And then I'll take this and bring it over, and let's see. Yeah. Let me put this one on the other side. Like this. There we go. Put that like that. And I'll bring this up to rest it on there. Yeah, that should hold that tight. Is it still level? No, wait. Alright, let's lock that down. That's good and tight. Now this side here, that's going to sit in that groove, and I don't want it to sit in the groove. Let's put that like that. Stick this under it. Okay. I'm a little bit nervous here. I haven't tested this thing, and I don't know how well it's going to work. I hope it works. Okay, so let me load a file. Alright, I got a file in there. Alright, we'll home the machine. So the Z and the X axis have homed. Now it's going to come in and do the Y axis. I could have it home faster than that, but I'm making sure everything's safe and I've got enough time to react if I have to hit the emergency off switch. Alright, that looks good. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to push the Y axis back. And I'm going to bring the X axis over. About middle. That should be good, I guess. Bring the Z-axis down. Alright, so let's see, we'll go Y-axis, we'll take it back a little bit. That should be about the middle of the board. Now I'll set it to move in 1 millimeter increments. 28 degrees outside today. For you guys that use metric, that's -2 Celsius. Yeah, it's cold. So anyway, now what we do is we set this as the work home. And now that we've set that as the work home, no matter where this thing is, like I can take the Z-axis for example, and I can push it up here, and I can push the Y-axis over here out of the way. Before it starts cutting, it'll come into the home position and then go where it needs to go. In theory. So let's let's find out. I'm going to tell it to run the job. Like I said, I'm a little bit nervous first time, but let's see what happens. Looks pretty good. I think I can lower the Z-axis though. Well, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to tell it to safe go home. And I can put that Z down a little bit. So let me go to the Z-axis and tell it go 2 millimeters down. Maybe a tad more. Nah, that's fine. And then I'm going to tell it that that's the new 0 point, and let's see what happens. Feeling a little bit better now, though. All right, here we go. I think that looks pretty good. That's not sanded or anything, and that's an old bit. So, yeah, I think it's working. Nice. So here you can see what it looks like. I think the machine did a good job. Like I said, old bit, so that's good. And the setup that I have is I've got the Linux CNC monitor here, and I've got a keyboard on the open drawer, which works out great. It's like having a desk. And then over here, it's still open, but I was just doing some final tweaking. So we've got a 24-volt supply for the sensors, the main supply for the stepper motors, that's the spindle controller. Then I've got 2 parallel ports, 1 and 2. This one takes care of all the step and direction, and it's got the limit switch inputs. And then over here, it's got the spindle right now, but I've got plenty of extra inputs and a few extra outputs to hook some other things. Alright, and actually these are inputs and these are outputs. And then this is the converter that I made, and it takes the 24-volt sensors and drops them down to 5 volts. And this little cable, I had just used cable like this, and I was getting glitches. I had to put something like this twisted pair to eliminate the glitches, and then tie the 2 boards, 5 volts and grounds together. And now it's behaving wonderfully. So there we go. It's cutting out parts. And I'm a happy camper. Thanks for watching.